Ladies and gentlemen, today we are ranking every single Black Ops 6 Zombies map from worst to best, as all of them have now fully released, and I can finally give you guys my definitive ranking. The bottom, let's just get into it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Tomb. I mean, the Tomb is arguably what destroyed the momentum for Black Ops 6 Zombies as a whole, especially coming off of Citadel daymore being such a monumental DLC 1. This map honestly killed Black Ops 6 Zombies, and I think for that reason alone, I had to put it at the bottom tier. Like, this map also ruined the trajectory of a lot of the other zombie maps coming after it, being Shattered Veil and also The Reckoning, where those maps honestly do a lot more interesting things than this map. This map is just copy and pasted for no reason. It was a bait and switch teaser towards Origins being in Black Ops 6, and instead we get this random survival Liberty Falls type experience with only the ice staff out of the 4 staffs. There's no reason for the boss zombie on this map to be the shock mimic. The boss fight itself, you're fighting the Sentinel artifact, which literally doesn't even make sense. This map, honestly, in terms of what it did for Black Ops 6, is disrespectful. Let's just be for real here, because this map also showed how Black Ops 6 was utilizing AI for its Call of Duty Zombies game experience, and I think that alone is what Black Ops 6 is going to be known for. Not this idea that, oh, they could have potentially brought in Origins into Black Ops 6 and made it incredible. No, is not only that, they had a map like this where you're fighting the Sentinel artifact, and then on top of that, half the freaking voice actors for this game leave in the middle of this map, and that's why you have one of the worst cutscenes ever in all of Call of Duty Zombies coming in from this map. And to be quite honest, the story in Black Ops 6 Zombies in general is just extremely lackluster, but this map arguably killed Black Ops 6 Zombies and the momentum for modern zombies as a whole. Like, arguably, this map could also ruin an entire game coming after it, being Black Ops 7, because of how little interest people have in that game already, just coming out, because it's basically going to be copy and pasting all of these Black Ops 6 mechanics that people were okay with in Terminus and Liberty Falls and Citadel, but this map really was the straw that broke the camel's back, and that is why, even though, let's give it some pros here, it's aesthetically beautiful in some areas, and it's a fun survival map if you're just grinding XP. So there's that, but outside of that, this map arguably did way more damage than any good to Black Ops 6 Zombies, and I think it is more than fair to rate it as the worst zombies map on this game. It's also the one map I have the least amount of playtime, and also, like, the ice staff on this map is just disrespectful. I think what they did to it is just awful. But ladies and gentlemen, I think a lot of you guys are going to be shocked about where I put this next spot. I think you guys are going to be shocked by this. Ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, this is the latest release of the Black Ops 6 Zombies map, The Reckoning. Now, again, this is going to be the best part of The Reckoning, the boss fights. This is the reason why I put it above the Tomb. This is the reason why people are even going to play this map in the future, is because you literally have a Richtofen and Samantha double boss fight. Now, from what I've heard, this is the first time Treyarch is actually giving you the option to choose a Black Ops 6 Zombies fight, which is actually insane, because the one thing I will always credit Black Ops 6 for is that it did the boss fights incredibly well, and that is honestly the only saving grace of The Reckoning for me. Even though this map was the longest Easter egg hunt, coming in at 8 hours as opposed to the rest of the zombie maps like the Tomb with only 4, I just felt like this map was just really bad. Like, sure, they did a lot of cool innovative things, but man, the Wonder Weapon sucks, okay? The Gorg effects, I've gotten to round 100 with it, sure, it works, but if this map did not have the caster turrets and mutant injections, dog, everybody would be hating the Wonder Weapon just as much as I am. I'm just keeping it for real with you. And also, this map does a lot of bad things, making the Warzone mechanics more present than ever, adding in no new perk, number one, but also Warzone parachutes coming in down, and also just like like locking content on the map. You can only get one wonder weapon upgrade per game on this map. And I just think there's so many decisions with this map that were so bad outside of the boss fight. Like, to be honest, like, the only thing that really saves this map to me is this finale. Regardless, though, of the story of this map, arguably being just as bad as the Tomb, if not worse, because it's setting up another Modern Zombies Black Ops 7 type game with just an awful way to bring back the Primus crew inside of the Dark Ether storyline. So to be quite honest, the Reckoning, it's still going to have people playing it in the future just because this is the Richthofen boss fight map. This is the Samantha boss fight map. We've never had this before in a Treyarch experience, but the map itself leaves so much to be desired, to be quite honest, and it's just extremely bland. Like, even when you compare this map to Die Rise, the only other vertical zombies map experience, this map just has so much that is left to be desired, to be quite honest. And if it wasn't for this extremely hard boss fight, I feel like this map would have fallen off in like less than a week. And regardless, this map also goes to show the culmination of how the modern zombie storyline doesn't make sense in terms of the way the maps look, the way the wonder weapons feel, the way everything just feels like a reused asset. I feel like that is why this map is unfortunately my second least favorite map as well. And I also think the title of this map and the last map, the Tomb and the Reckoning, are just kind of lazy titles. I don't know. There's really no other explanation as to why these maps are at the bottom. They just don't really do enough to justify their place being any higher. And to be quite honest, these two maps, in my honest opinion, if it wasn't for the Richthofen boss fight, are some of the worst zombies maps we've received in like 5 to 10 years. I genuinely think it is that bad. But ladies and gentlemen, coming into our next spot from the Tomb and the Reckoning, I think a lot of people might actually be shocked about this placement. Ladies and gentlemen, to me, this is Shattered Veil. Now, I know there's a huge fan base for this zombies map, and while I will say I do think this map does incredible things with this Easter egg and actually has a very complex and intricate Easter egg, I just think, again, this map falls into a lot of the same issues as the Reckoning, where the map itself isn't really too interesting. Like, to me, a better variation of this map would be Dead of the Night, where it's a mansion, and it also has a theming of vampires and werewolves, whereas this map just grabs so much from other maps in its past, like the Alpha Omega Rega Mark IIs that are on here. The boss fight, I will give this the reason why, as it's above the Reckoning and Shattered Veil. The T-Z-Rex boss fight, named after your boy, I'm telling you, is one of the greatest fights I've enjoyed in quite some time in COD Zombies, and to me, it's the reason why it saved this map. This map, I think, also has a better enemy selection variety with the Elder Disciples, the Toxic Zombie Max Ammo round. It feels more of a distinct experience, whereas every other of these zombies maps is always reusing so many enemies like Doppelgas. And I know Doppelgas are on pretty much all of the maps, but the thing is like, it's just so annoying to go back and play like the Reckoning and oh, there's a Doppelgas, and oh, go back and play the Tomb, and oh, there's a Doppelgas, and on this map, oh, there's Doppelgas. But I feel like at least they tried variating the enemies. Also, this is the map that added double tap into the game and arguably saved the weapon balancing of this entire game. And so, to be honest, for that reason alone, I gotta give it to this map just being higher than the others, because, listen, even though the lore was a little bit more interesting with the Sentinel artifact and stuff, in the end, it just doesn't really make a lot of sense why the Sentinel artifact was even in this story to begin with. And so, this map does a lot of good in terms of its gameplay, but again, the story falls off hard, and I think the wonder weapons are just kind of whatever. They're, again, reused like the Tomb, but I will say the waft is incredible on Shattered Veil. You gotta give it respect for that. And the Rega Mark II W, the fully auto version, is really strong as well. I just think, again, this map is a little bit too on the big side as well. I wish there was a little bit more fast travel that was more unique to this map, rather than just like one Vanguard themed portal. I mean, the Vanguard portal theme has to go, bro. It is 2025. Vanguard released in 2021. We need to let that go. It is just insane how that is still in this game. And to be honest, I think Shattered Veil saved a lot of people's opinions for Black Ops 6 with this game, just because, like, if it wasn't for Shattered Veil, a lot of people would have hated this game, especially after the Tomb, because the Tomb and the Reckoning, I think, are easily two of the most hated maps for obviously two different reasons. But ladies and gentlemen, let's get into the cream of the crop for this, because I think this is where we actually get some incredibly enjoyable experiences in Black Ops 6 Zombies. And I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm rating Liberty Falls above Shattered Veil and also the Reckoning. I know a lot of people might get upset at me for doing this, but to be quite honest, this was already leaked to being the most played Zombies map ever. And two guesses why. It's because of the camo grind. Everybody is not playing this map for the Easter egg. They're playing for directed mode. They're playing for the camos. And honestly, I'm not surprised by that. To be honest though, this is arguably one of the greatest survival experiences we've had in a while, and that's why I'm really excited for Black Ops 7 to be going back to that Black Ops 2 style where they have survival maps, and then you have your more fully fledged maps, whereas Black Ops 6 really felt like a tug-of-war between having a survival map like the Tomb, and then also having a full-fledged experience like Terminus, for example. And so that's where I think Liberty Falls was just a really nice pace in between. I think the launch of Black Ops 6 still to this date was one of the greatest zombie game launches we've ever had in a COD Zombies title outside of the Warzone-ification. And for what this map had to suffer through back in COD Next with all the YouTubers playing it and essentially giving a lot of negative PR towards BO6, I think this map recovered beautifully. I think Treyarch also did a great job addressing community feedback for this map and actually zombifying it and making it more like a Zombies map. Granted, I still don't think the aesthetic is up to that same level as like the older games did from BO4 and before. But regardless, this is probably going to be the map that most people come back to play. And that is why, honestly, I rate it above Shattered Veil and the Reckoning personally. I've got way more hours in this map, not even just because of the camo grind, but also just because I enjoy this map more. It's easier. It's fun. I think a lot of people also have just played this map the most. And honestly, that's why I got to give it to this map. Also, I think this map does a lot of things great, like remastering the Wonder Weapon in a good way. Not where it disrespects Origins like the Tomb, but it actually adds to what Transit was trying to do with the jet gun with this map, and I think that is why a lot of people actually enjoy this map. The Wonder Weapon is enjoyable. You now have the Rig Mark II from Shattered Veil in this map as well, which also just makes it so much more enjoyable. And to be honest, it doesn't really give me much of a reason to go play Shattered Veil when I can get the Ray-Gun Mark II here. I don't care about the Ray-Gun Mark II upgrades because a lot of them are just trash, right? So, honestly, the only reason I would ever play Shattered Veil is to get the WAF. But to be honest, this map does an incredible job of getting people to actually care about a survival experience. And when you think about it, we have not had a great survival experience like this in a very long time. So I gotta give Liberty Falls some respect for that. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're in the top two aspects for the greatest Zombies map on Black Ops 6, but to be honest, to me, they are very neck and neck. Terminus and Citadel daymore, but to be quite honest, I think I gotta give this one here to Terminus. And I think Terminus, I know a lot of people like to say that this is the greatest Black Ops 6 Zombies map. I've got to say, this map did a lot of great things. It made the map layout very enjoyable. The boat mechanic was very fun. The boss fight on this map was incredible as well. I mean, granted, a lot of people didn't like Liberty Falls because it didn't really have a boss fight, but still, if you wanted your boss fight experience at the launch of this game, Patient 13 with Terminus was absolutely incredible. And honestly, if you bring a Maelstrom into this boss fight, you can absolutely wreck the fight. The Easter egg was very easy. It was very fun as well. The Wonder Weapon, I do wish was slightly more powerful, but I gotta give it respect for at least being innovative. You know, the Beam Smasher is kind of like a variant of like the Paralyzer from Black Ops 2, but still, Terminus just does an incredible job of actually being a solid launch map experience. And to be quite honest, I don't know if Black Ops 7's Transit is even going to be anywhere close to how great Terminus was at launch. And granted, I still think D Machine was more hyped than this map, but Terminus set a great precedent for what Black Ops 6 could be, and it's just so sad that the Tomb arguably just wrecked everything that this map tried building up, in my opinion. And so I can't give enough love for Terminus. I think the only weak aspect of this map, to me personally, was the story, and it wasn't as bad as the other maps, but I do believe our #1 spot does it so much better. But honestly, this is the map that really put Black Ops 6 in a good pace, but the map that sealed the deal to me for making Black Ops 6 honestly have a couple of great maps here. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't believe I am saying this, but boys, this is Citadel daymore. This is one of the greatest DLC 1 experiences we have had since Horizon Drac. And I'm confident with saying this. Honestly, the swords are incredible set of 4 wonder weapons. They feel buff. They feel fun to use. The incantations as well felt so similar to what old Treyarch used to do. The story on this map with Richtofen's dad being Kraft, and then Kraft's also lineage descending from this guy named the Owl. It really gave me this like Elden Ring type of vibe with COD Zombies. And I really hope we get something more similar to these type of maps in Black Ops 7. It is nice to see that Black Ops 7 is trying to make a more zombies-esque aura inside of the actual game itself. But man, Citadel daymore to me nailed almost everything, and to me this is still my S-tier zombies map in Black Ops 6. The Easter egg is interesting, it's long, it's fun. It also has an incredible boss fight at the end, which is extremely challenging. And even though there's been a lot of ways that you can cheese him, I'm pretty sure most of them have now been patched, and I would argue that this boss fight might still actually be one of the hardest boss fights in Black Ops 6 itself. It is incredibly difficult and so much fun as a co-op experience. I think this map literally saved Black Ops 6 for so many people, including myself, because DLC 1 sets the precedent for the zombies game, and if it's going to be a great game or if it's going to be a bad game. And I gotta give Black Ops 6 Zombies for some love for Citadel daymore, and I really hope Treyarch adds more maps like this, especially because with Black Ops 7 we're almost guaranteed to know that Transit is going to be basically a copy and paste from assets we've already seen. But I hope we can still get some original Citadel daymore type experiences, because even though this is not the most played map on Black Ops 6, it still is one of the greatest zombies maps we have seen in a long time. But ladies and gentlemen, comment down below your ranking of the best Black Ops 6 zombies maps from worst to best, and I'll see y'all, ladies and gentlemen, in that next one.